It is now my great honor to share some Torah in this space. And this week, as we go through the story of Isaac and Rebekah, and we start to turn towards the story of Jacob and Esau, I want to ask the question, who are these avot and imahot? Who are these ancestors? And I'm not asking, can you list them, like give me, their names, but rather, who really are they? Why them? What role models do they serve as? Abraham and Sarah, it's clear, they're selfless pioneers, ready to give it all for the divine good. They are role models of those who kept the faith even into their old age and through countless hardships. Jacob, Rachel, Leah, the literal parents of our people, those who journeyed out of the promised land of Israel, but who did not lose their connection to the divine, they are role models that one can be a Jew, can be connected to tradition, community, the divine good, no matter how far you venture from that holy land of Israel. But what of Isaac and Rebekah? What types of role models do they serve as? As we said last week, with the beginning of their relationship comes the first mention of the word love, ahava, in our Torah. They are the first to see each other and fall in love at first sight. But theirs, as I started to mention before, is certainly not an easy love story. It's hard for them to see eye to eye, both literally and figuratively. It's hard for them to communicate, literally several times falling flat on their faces as they try. Yet this week we see Isaac pray for his wife. She has been barren for years, and the Torah tells us that Isaac beseeches God on her behalf. And the Midrashist Hagit Raphael here offers us a story. Hagit Raphael tells us that this one, Isaac, stood in this corner, and this one, Rebekah, stood in the other corner of their house, both praying for a child, and it wasn't working. Each one stood in their own corner, each one praying to the same God, but their words were not joined together. Their words were alone, and it didn't work. God opens their eyes, and they see each other, and they turn to stand face to face. They look at each other truly and deeply. This one praying to bring blessing and comfort to his spouse. This one praying to bring blessing and comfort to her spouse. They look eye to eye, removing the scarves that covered them, and they stand heart to heart. Rebekah, in this moment, we're told, saw her husband clearly, perfectly, his glory and the scars that were in him. That he had not dug new wells like his father, had not ventured far and had gone out, but had only guarded the wells of his father for all these years. Isaac saw his wife, her beautiful and pure heart, but also the scars that were in her. The suffering of years without a child, the hurt of malicious words of the neighbors, as they said, she's the daughter of a wicked one and the sister of a wicked one. In that moment, they took it upon themselves as they looked eye to eye, as they stood heart to heart, to accept the other, to affirm the other, to validate the other, scars and all, and to live in love, friendship, peace, and companionship. Their compassion for each other, we're told, in this moment was like a well freed from the stone that covers it. And once that stone has been removed, once it's been rolled away, they drank deep from this well of love. And Rebekah becomes pregnant. In other words, the love that they find for each other, scars and all, is enough to bring creative blessing into this world, to bring life into this world. Whether we're talking about a romantic relationship or one between friends, we know these stages of the story from our own lives. Think about it for a second. looking for the same thing but in opposite places, our eyes opening, seeing the other, allowing even our bad parts to be seen, offering love, acceptance, friendship, and then that's when blessings are created. So Isaac and Rebekah, what are they a model of? A model of love. Love despite the imperfections, a love where the beauty and the scars are in full view and there's full acceptance. They are a model of this type of transformative love and the blessings that it can bring. This love, though, it is for sure not easy. One need not go far in our text to see just how hard it can be. For this week, Jacob and Esau are born. We know their story is one of ups and downs, of theft and trickery, of rivalry and favorites. And yet, weeks from now, when we arrive towards the end of their story, the story of these brothers, we will see that with all the bad, with all the scars in it, it's a story that ends with love, a hug, and a kiss at the parting of their ways. Don't misunderstand me. It's not one that ends with perfection, not one in which the characters act admirably and recognize their wrongs. It's a love with many imperfections, but love all the same. So here, let us now bring in Rabbi Sachs' comments from earlier. With such a powerful love between Rebekah and Isaac, a love that here in the Midrash is filled with compassion, understanding, and acceptance. Imagine what could have been if they had communicated, if so much had not been left hidden and unsaid, but rather had been discussed explicitly. What blessing could have been created then? What pain could their children have been spared? May we, as we reflect on our relationships, be able to follow in the steps of Isaac and Rebekah and love unconditionally. To see the other, our friend, our partner, scars and all, and be able to offer companionship, love, and blessing. But let us try to add on to their blessing, to strive to be even better than our ancestors and combine our true love with true communication. Perhaps if we can not only love in the way of Rebekah and Isaac, but offer that love openly and clearly in our words, perhaps then we can move the rock off of the well, drink deeply, and experience creative blessings once again. To end, I want you to think for a moment. Isaac, we are taught, had these blessings for his sons his entire life, a blessing for Jacob and a blessing for Esau. Imagine what it would have been like to be Jacob, to be able to receive a blessing and not think that you had to trick your father. If only his father had been explicit with his love, if only his father had communicated and told him, no matter what you turn to be, no matter what man you are in this world, I have a blessing for you. This is a week where we see love in the Torah, but let us try to do more. Let us add to that love true communication. Good Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom and Yasher Koach.
Bruchat
Beautiful.
Bruchat